Good evening, barflies and lounge lizards, and welcome to Midnight Martinis, the show where I take a look at something from my personal collection. And tonight we'll be taking a look at some obscure Godzilla toys from my youth. Now some of you, and that is Thunder, some of you have already seen this video, but that was in an alternate reality, so it doesn't count. And first and foremost, we have a Godzilla Bop Bag. And I remember getting this one from Alvin's Magic Mountain Mall in Panama City Beach, Florida, when I was a very small boy. I'm not even sure I'd started school yet, but I already loved monsters and I really loved Godzilla. And this guy, he's been with me ever since then, since the early 80s. And I've always found the concept of the Bop Bags funny, because you're supposed to punch them. But they're always characters like Bozo the Clown or the infamous Chewbacca one. Though I guess every kid in the 80s wanted to punch Chewbacca. Either way, very strange. Yeah, so we have this guy and he somehow has made it all this time, even though he deflates very quickly, so I can't really actually display him. And speaking of Panama City and vacation, these next guys I got in Panama City as well at an Alvin's, not Alvin's Magic Mountain Mall, but an Alvin's Island. And it is a series of little skateboarding kaiju guys. And actually, let's just now do some zooming ins. And the first one, which is probably my favorite, is this strange yellow Godzilla on a skateboard. But look at that. That is an amazing likeness of the Showa Godzilla. Easily the best likeness of the group, and just a really good sculpt. And these didn't even come in packages or anything like that. They were just in a bin in the toy section of Alvin's, and I actually grabbed all three. So first we have Showa Godzilla on an orange and blue skateboard, and then we have what is clearly King Kong here with a strange pink face and some King Kong butt. They did not skip on the butt there. He's on a yellow and blue. Oh, that's a nice color combination there. And then we have another, which is clearly supposed to be Godzilla, because you can see the fins, but a slightly more stylized and very toothy kind of Godzilla. And wow, I apologize about that thunder if you can hear it, but it is really starting to come down out there. These were just kind of a no-brainer for me, because even back then, at a young age, I really dug skate culture and surf culture and that kind of thing, and I really loved TNC surf designs and things like Rube Dog and the Dweebs, so these guys just really appealed to me. And I've never seen these in anyone else's collection. They're one of those ones that I seem to be the only one of that I know of that have them. And then this guy is just a little Godzilla little clip thing, I guess, to hang on your backpack or your lapel. Or I remember back in the 80s when these were kind of like all the rage, and as soon as I saw a Godzilla, and he's clearly Godzilla, you can tell, even though his fins are a little small, that's who he's supposed to be. And he clips, even still, his little clip works quite well. Back then, before Godzilla toys were everywhere, you just kind of, anything I saw, I would buy. Granted, these are all very cool, but there was just kind of a certain excitement about just actually running across one of these in the wild. Okay, and next we have, this was actually a mystery figure for me for decades. Pretty much since my youth, but a friend gave me this back when I was probably in first or second grade, and he had said that it was actually supposed to be Baby Godzilla, Minya, and that it came with a bigger actual Godzilla himself. Well, I found out, probably about a year or two ago, that was not the case. This is actually supposed to be Godzilla himself, and it's from a toy line, I believe, from the 70s called Monster Meanies, or at very least this was released as Monster Meanies. And he's just a really unique kind of sculpt, and he's one that, I guess the fins are kind of there, but you really kind of don't know it's Godzilla unless you know it's Godzilla. He actually looks a little bit more like a Sesame Street frog or something like that. But either way, I still have a ton of sentimental value for this guy. That has a charming little frog face, and people know me, know that I dig some frogs. And next we have these little guys, this little Ghidorah, and I'm assuming that's a Minya. Maybe it's a super deformed Godzilla, but I'm thinking it's a Minya. But these guys actually came in a box of Japanese candy that I got at a con in the mid 90s, say 95-ish, maybe 96. And it was even at that point still where the internet wasn't quite like it is now, and stores definitely weren't like they are now. And cons, that was kind of the place you went to. If you wanted Japanese Godzilla toys and stuff, you just had to go to a con and hope they had them. And sure enough, I saw this little box of Japanese candy and it said came with a figure, so I got them. And next up, these are actually some of my favorites, sentimental value-wise, and they're probably the first or second, depending on when I got that Bop Bag, Godzilla toys I ever had. And I remember I was shopping at, I don't remember if it was Gaylord's or if it was Zayre's at the time, but either way, coming out and seeing a quarter machine. And in this quarter machine were little Godzilla figures. And I bought several. For some reason, these are the only two I can find. I don't know what happened to those. I know I had a King Caesar as well. But we have this little Godzilla here. Kind of simple, but still cool with his pink belly. But the real highlight is this Megalon, this yellow Megalon here. And this was actually my first exposure to Megalon, because I hadn't seen Godzilla vs. Megalon yet. That was the point in which you were at the mercy of your local video store or just whatever your store in which you bought videotapes, and that was Kmart. And so I just bought whatever Good Times Godzilla videotapes that the Kmart had, and they just didn't get the Godzilla vs. Megalon. So I didn't see it until, I was still a kid, but until a bit later. And then when I finally saw the movie, I was like, wait, oh, that's that figure, that's who that is. Either way, I just love this guy. And it's the only Megalon piece I have, even to this day. And last, we have these two little, which I have a third one as well, which I can't seem to locate, these little Godzilla guys. And I bought these, even though I do think they released these at some point packaged out of a little bin at a pharmacy, at a drugstore called Chandler's back in my hometown. Would go there, look at comic books, eat a hot dog at the soda fountain, and occasionally get toys. And sure enough, they had these guys. Now, they used to, you would roll them and they would make sparks coming out of their mouths, but their sparking has long since ended. But of course, we have this Godzilla here who's trying to blur. See if I can get him closer. So that's actually a pretty good likeness and a pretty good little face there. Kind of got that one eyebrow raised like a certain somebody who might host this channel. And then we have this guy who's clearly a Baragon, just a silver Baragon who stands upright. And this was also too my first exposure to Baragon. And the third one I have is a gold Mechagodzilla, which I really try to need to find a way to find. That's a sentence that has words. And he looks really cool too because of the gold. It makes him look sort of Aztec-y. Because if you look at his design and you put that in gold, it looks like some kind of Aztec robot. It's really cool. So yeah, that's my obscure Godzilla toys from my youth. So please like, comment, subscribe, and let me know if you had any obscure Godzilla toys from your youth. And shoot, let me know if you had any of these. I would love to know if anybody else was rocking these skateboarding kaiju back in the day. And one last thing, keep it wacky.